Good morning students of class 6. In this part we will study about some more methods of separation of substances. We would start with sedimentation. Have you seen pulses being washed in your home? When pulses are kept in a bowl of water, they settle down as they are heavy. However, dirt, insects, husk or tiny pieces of straw and other lighter impurities float on the top. The water which contains these impurities is then poured out and discarded. This process involves the two methods, sedimentation and decantation. Sedimentation, the process of separating insoluble solid suspended by a liquid by allowing them to settle at the bottom is called sedimentation. The solid particles that settle down during sedimentation are called sediments. See this figure, separating a mixture of sand and water using sedimentation and decantation. The process in which insoluble impurities like sand settle at the bottom of the liquid and form the sediment. This process is called the sedimentation. Example, obtaining clean water from muddy water. Next is decantation. The process of pouring out the upper clear liquid without disturbing the sediments is called decantation. A mixture of sand and water can be separated by sedimentation and decantation. First, the mixture is left undisturbed for some time. Sand being heavier settles down and the water is poured out in a separate container. So, sedimentation and decantation are used to separate an insoluble solid from a liquid. In decantation, the process in which the water, the upper clear liquid, is poured into the another beaker without disturbing the sediments. That process is called decantation. Next method of separation is filtration. Filtration is commonly used in our homes. For example, after preparing tea, we filter out the tea leaves using a strainer. Filtration is also done to remove the pulp from fresh juice. Water may also contain solid impurities, which may be removed by filtration. The process by which two substances, an insoluble solid and a liquid, are separated by passing through a filtering device is called filtration. See this figure. In the filtration process, the very fine particles, insoluble solids, can be separated from a liquid solid mixture by passing it through a suitable porous material like filter paper. The liquid obtained after filtration, that liquid is called the filtrate. Example, tea is filtered using strainer. So, in detail we will study about filtration, how this process is done. So, filtration is the process through which small particles like dirt, etc. are separated from a solution by making the solution to pass through a medium, often a filter paper. This medium is such that only the liquids can pass through it because of the presence of very small holes or tiny pores in it. The filter paper is molded to form a cone-like structure as shown in the figure, and then this cone is affixed to a funnel through which the dirty solution is allowed to pass. Solid particles in the mixture do not pass through this and remain on the filter paper, and the clear liquid is obtained inside the beaker. Sometimes filtration is also used to separate the cottage cheese or paneer from milk. Next method is evaporation. The process of converting water into the vapor form due to the heating, due to the increase in temperature, that is called the evaporation. The process of evaporation takes place continuously wherever the water is present. Evaporation. So where do you think the salt comes from? Seawater contains many salts mixed with it. One of this salt is common salt. When the seawater is allowed to stand in shallow pits, water gets heated by sunlight and slowly turns into water vapor through evaporation. In a few days, the water evaporates completely, leaving behind the solids. Common salt is then obtained from the mixture of this salt by the further purification. See this figure. The process in which liquid changes into gas is called evaporation. In this method, the mixture is heated, the part of the mixture evaporates, leaving the solid part behind. For example, a mixture of common salt and water can be separated by evaporation. In fact, evaporating seawater is the oldest method of obtaining the salt. In this first seawater, see this figure, some steps are given of obtaining the salt from seawater. Seawater has some salt dissolved in it. To obtain the salt, seawater is collected in shallow pits and allowed to stand there for few days. Due to the sun's heat, water evaporates. Salt is left behind, is then collected, and after the purification, salt is ready for consumption or for use. Next method is condensation. The process by which water vapor or gas changes into liquid is called condensation. Condensation is defined as a simple process of converting gas or vapor to its liquid form by decreasing the temperature or pressure exerted on it. Now learn these methods of separation read this from the textbook.